What if all your staff worked with the same passion and drive as you? If you asked everyone in your organization to describe the culture, how would the answers differ? The word culture in business over the last 10 to 20 years has become a catch-all. And it actually disappoints me because most people underestimate what it really means and how vitally important it is to succeed in building a great, enduring company. So how would I define culture? Understanding human behavior and understanding how to elevate a group of people to realize and believe and trust that they are part of something larger than themselves, and each person, individually and collectively, has a responsibility to shaping the behavior of the organization. And this behavior is the foundation of the culture of the company, its set of values, and its guiding principles, which will ultimately define the company's core purpose and reason for being. Howard Schultz. When I was 21, I owned my first company, the security company I mentioned in the intro. We scaled and had offices as far east as Newfoundland and as far west as Vancouver, British Columbia, a span of 6,000 miles. At the time, I thought culture was nothing, a distraction from real business. I would police the people I interacted with daily, and that was it. I didn't put any behavioral expectations or controls on the other offices, and I certainly didn't define culture. But when I traveled to our remote company offices, I quickly learned that my way of thinking was a mistake. At each office, the culture was so different that it felt like another company entirely. It seemed as if I had walked into some stranger's business. I was shocked, but I knew it was my own fault. The culture was different in every remote office I visited because it had never been clearly defined. The employees had no behavioral guidelines or expectations. Defined versus default culture. So, what exactly is culture? Every organization has a culture, whether they plan for one or not. It doesn't matter if your company has 2 employees or 20,000. Your organization either has a culture by design or by default. A core value is the specific language that guides and defines people's behaviors. Core values lay the foundation for how people should behave, and culture in a perfect world is the outcome of how those values come to life. Have you created core values? Have you defined them and distributed them to your employees? Do your employees understand them, and most importantly, do they live them? Take a moment to jot down your answers. If you answered no to any of these questions, you have a culture by default, at least to some degree. Your employees behave any way they like because there are no guidelines for them to follow. A culture by default could also mean you have competing cultures within your organization. You could have an aggressive, risky culture competing for bandwidth with a passive, safe culture. And who knows who will win out? This happens a lot with sales and engineering teams. It's a salesperson's job to be aggressive and take risks, whereas most engineers prefer safety and stability. If you stand back and watch while both cultures compete for dominance, you will likely be met with disaster, versus being able to refer to the same core values of the company, which will eliminate much of the tension and unite the organization. Culture by default is a dangerous place to be. Defining a thriving culture. If you're going to create a thriving culture for your company, you need to know what that would look like. This is a question you must address personally because every business has a unique culture. It usually comes from you, the founder. So, what type of culture will make your business thrive? What will make your company attractive to the type of people you need and repel those you don't?